Hey everyone, and welcome back to English Power Day. I'm your host, Jack. It's so great to have you here. If you're new to the channel, English Power Day is your go-to spot for boosting your English in a relaxed and supportive way. We keep things conversational, speak slowly and clearly, and in every episode, we practice together. So, get ready to repeat after me. We dive into topics that really matter, like psychology, daily life, work, and relationships. The goal is simple. Not only to help you learn practical English phrases, but also to pick up useful knowledge that you can actually use to navigate your own life. If that sounds like your kind of learning, make sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and share this with a friend who's also on their English learning journey. Let's get started. All right, let's dive into today's topic, loneliness. Specifically, how to deal with it. This isn't just about feeling alone sometimes. It's about that deep, persistent sense of isolation that can really wear you down. And here's the thing, ignoring it is dangerous. Chronic loneliness doesn't just hurt emotionally. It can increase stress, harm our physical health, and make us pull away from the very connections we need. Let me tell you about David. He moved to a new city for a great job. On the surface, he was successful. But after work, he'd go back to a quiet apartment. His coworkers were friendly, but conversations never went beyond, "How was your weekend?" He had hundreds of online friends, but no one to call for a spontaneous coffee. Weeks turned into months. He started feeling tired all the time. He'd scroll through social media, seeing everyone else having fun, and just feel he stopped accepting invites because what's the point? This wasn't just shyness. This was loneliness slowly closing the door. Maybe you felt a bit like David. You're in a room full of people, but you feel completely separate. You have a long list of contacts, but you think, no one really gets me. You want to reach out, but a voice in your head says, "Don't bother them," or "I have nothing interesting to say." So you stay quiet. You keep to yourself. That feeling builds. It's heavy. Here's the core of the problem. It's not necessarily about being alone. It's about lacking meaningful connection. It's the gap between the relationships you have and the relationships you need. So, how do we bridge that gap? How can we start to deal with this feeling in a practical way? Let's break it down into practical steps. First, initiate tiny interactions. Don't think about making a best friend right away. Start incredibly small. The goal is just to have a brief, positive human exchange. It lowers the pressure and begins to rewire your brain for connection. Imagine this. You're at the office coffee machine. A colleague you usually just nod at is there. Instead of looking at your phone, you make eye contact, smile, and say, "Hey, I like your mug. Where's it from?" That's it. It's a 10-second interaction. Inside, you might feel a flicker of nervousness. What if they think I'm weird? But you do it anyway. Their face lights up. "Oh, thanks. My sister got it for me." Suddenly, you're not two ghosts in the hallway. You've shared a tiny, warm moment. Or, picture yourself at the gym, on the treadmill, next to someone you see every Tuesday. You catch your breath, turn slightly, and say, "Phew, that workout is tougher than it looks." You're not asking for their life story. You're just making a simple, shared observation. They might laugh and agree. "Tell me about it." And just like that, the invisible wall feels a little thinner. The key is initiate tiny interactions. Now you repeat. Second, share something slightly real. Go one level deeper. Share a small opinion, a mild frustration, or a little curiosity. This isn't about sharing your deepest secret. It's about showing a tiny piece of the real you. Let's go back to the coffee machine. The next time you see that colleague, you've already broken the ice. Now you can say, "So, did that coffee live up to the cool mug?" If they laugh, you can add, "I'm still searching for the perfect brew around here." You've shared a tiny, relatable desire. You're no longer just the person from accounting. You're the person also looking for good coffee. Another scene. You're in an online group for a hobby. Instead of just reading posts, you comment on someone's project. You write, "This is amazing. I tried something similar last month and completely messed up the glue part. Any tips?" You're showing a bit of vulnerability. You messed up. This makes you approachable. It invites a real response. The core move is to share something slightly real. Now you repeat. Third, create a shared micro moment. This is about turning an interaction into a tiny, shared experience. It's about doing something together, however small. This builds a memory, a common point of reference. For example, you and that gym person are both wiping down equipment. You say, "I'm trying to decide if I hate or love this new ab circuit." They reply, "Right, it's brutal." You then say, "Race you to see who finishes their set first." Just kidding, unless you're introducing a tiny playful element of shared activity. Even if it's a joke, it creates a moment that's just between the two of you or with the online hobby group. You reply to that helpful person and say, "Your tip worked. Here's a picture of my less messy second try. Thanks for the save." You've now closed a loop. You had a problem, they helped, you succeeded, and you reported back. You've created a mini collaboration. The principle is to create a shared micro moment. Now you repeat. Fourth, schedule the next small thing. Consistency builds connection. After you've had a few positive micro moments, gently suggest a next low-pressure point of contact. This turns a random interaction into the beginning of a pattern. With your office coffee buddy, you could say, "Well, if I find that perfect coffee spot, I'll let you know." Or be a bit more direct, "I'll report back on my coffee search next week." You've set a gentle expectation for future chat. In the online group, you could send a direct message, "Hey, thanks again for the advice. I'm starting a new project next week. Can I tag you if I get stuck?" This isn't asking for a huge commitment. It's asking for permission for one more tiny interaction in the future. The goal is to schedule the next small thing. Now you repeat. So, let's quickly review our 4 steps for fighting loneliness. We start small, we share a little, we create a moment together, and we plan for a next time. Repeat after me. These are your tools. Initiate tiny interactions. Now you repeat. Share something slightly real. Now you repeat. Create a shared micro moment. Now you repeat. Schedule the next small thing. Now you repeat. Excellent. Now you have a practical roadmap to start building more meaningful connections. But how can you make sure you're actually learning and remembering the English we use to do all this? Great question. The key is to stop treating English as just a subject to study and start treating it as a tool you are already using. Let me give you a few practical methods. First, get a dedicated speaking notebook. Don't just write down new words. Write down whole phrases and mini dialogues from real life, like the ones we just practiced. For example, after today's lesson, you should write, "Initiate tiny interactions. Hey, I like your mug. Where's it from?" Or "Phew, that workout is tougher than it looks." The magic happens when you not only write them, but also say them out loud as you write. This connects the memory of the phrase to the physical act of speaking it. Our channel, English Power Day, is perfect for this. Every video gives you these real-life phrases to write down and repeat. Second, use the shadowing technique with our audio. When Jack is speaking, especially during the repeat after me parts, don't just listen. Play the audio and try to speak at the exact same time he does. Match his pace, his pauses, his tone. It feels strange at first, like you're an echo. But this is how you train your mouth muscles and your ear simultaneously. Our audio is slower on purpose, to give you the space to do this successfully. You can't shadow a fast news report yet, but you can definitely shadow our conversations. Third, create a use it mission. After you learn a phrase here, give yourself a tiny mission. Your mission isn't have a deep conversation. Your mission is to use one specific phrase. Maybe this week, your mission is to say, I like your to one person. It could be, I like your bag, or I like your laptop sticker. Find one opportunity and use it. The goal is the action, not the perfect response. This connects learning directly to doing, which is how you build real confidence. Now, I know what might be happening in your mind. You hear these tips, and a part of you thinks, that sounds good, but... Let me describe that but. You're in a situation. You remember the phrase from the video. You practiced it, but in that moment, your heart beats a little faster. Your mind goes blank for a second. You think, is my pronunciation right? What if I say it wrong, and they don't understand? What if I sound silly? So you smile nervously, say nothing, and look back at your phone. Afterward, you feel a pang of frustration. Why didn't I just say it? This cycle can make you feel like you're not making progress. It can make you want to just go back to silent studying, where it's safe and there's no risk of embarrassment. If that feels true for you, I want you to listen carefully. That hesitation, that fear of the tiny mistake, that is the final barrier. And it's not a language barrier. It's a courage barrier. Every single English speaker you admire, every confident person you see has been there. The difference is they decided that the goal was connection, not perfection. They decided that a slightly awkward, I like your mug, that leads to a smile is 1,000,000 times better than a perfectly silent, lonely moment. Your mistake is not the enemy. Silence is the enemy. That flicker of nervousness you feel before speaking, that's not a sign you're failing. That's the feeling of your courage growing. You are not trying to give a perfect speech. You are trying to pass a small, friendly note with your voice. It does not have to be flawless. It just has to be kind. You have all the tools. You have the phrases from this channel, spoken clearly and slowly for you. You have the practice methods. Now, you just need to grant yourself permission to be a learner in the real world. Your English is already good enough to start connecting. Let that be your new truth. Thank you for spending this time with me, Jack, on English Power Day. Remember, this channel is here to be your partner. We don't just teach you textbook English. We give you the real words for your real life, for your work, your thoughts, and your conversations. We break it down, we practice it together, and we help you build the confidence to use it. If you want to keep learning English that truly connects you to the world, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. You won't miss any of our new lessons. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up. And if you know someone who is also on this journey to conquer loneliness or to conquer English, share this video with them. Let's build a community of confident communicators one small interaction at a time. See you in the next video.